This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. Medicine has undergone many revolutions, but perhaps the prevalent issue in medicine today is the concept of wellness. How do we treat the body, the mind, the spirit, as well as our environment? And with me tonight are two very special people, dear friends of mine, Dr. Graham and Anita Cates. Dr. Graham Cates is a family practitioner, and Anita Cates is a nurse practitioner. And they work together as a team at the Family Medicine Practice in Blake Road. And tonight they're here to talk about this very special subject, wellness. Dr. Cates, obviously you're a family practitioner, and how did you and Anita come across this concept of wellness?
Well, I think one of the things that happened very early in Anita and I's relationship is we began to recognize that the collaboration between her area and my area and in family medicine required much more than just looking after physical well-being. There are so many chronic illnesses, acute illnesses that people face, and we recognize that beyond treating their physical condition, it was necessary for us to begin to look at, well, how does this impact their emotional well-being? How does it impact their family relationships? How is it impacting their work, their ability to be able to perform within the community? And with furthering our education, furthering our conversation, we recognized and sought after something which was bigger, something which was more than just looking after the physical.
Anita?
You know, it's very interesting. I think that, especially in family practice, you really begin to understand more about the patient, and you actually form relationships with these people, and you recognize that it's not just about dealing with the blood pressure, but it's about dealing other aspects in their lives. So it just seems to be a marriage of everything really together.
And a part of that was the opportunity for us as we grew in our spiritual lives was to recognize the importance of wholeness, a holistic living, a holistic approach to our lives, the lives of our family, and therefore the lives of our practice. And the wholeness that we're invited into is the wholeness of all areas of our life, not just
Dr.
one area.
Cates, when you say wholeness, what do you mean? Can you spell that out for us?
Yeah, sure. When we talk about wholeness, we're talking about how are we impacting everything in our lives, our physical, our spiritual, our financial, our social, and our emotional well-being. These are the 5 pillars of our wellness. And so the holistic approach is how are we integrating our lives, the lives of our family, into each and every one of those. It's very easy, and we recognize this through the studies that have been done, to compartmentalize, and we all do it. We all have the ability to be able to compartmentalize one of these areas and prioritize one of these areas as being the most important. For many, it may be business. It may be the economic aspect, the financial aspect of it, where everything is driven by your motivation for finances. Or for others, it may be spiritual or physical. But all of those components come together as wholeness, as wellness.
And how do you and Anita work together? For example, does she take one part of the wholeness and you take another part of the wholeness? How do you get this wholeness together?
I think that's a really interesting question, and when we look at our skill sets, it's really nice because we both complement one another. You know, Graham does the doctor part and I do the nurse part, in the fact that I do much more education. Graham does education as well. I think I am. I think that's, yeah. So,
and also a preacher. I've heard you preach recently.
Don't tell everyone. Yeah, I have been known to get up on stage and and to speak. So yeah, I'm very much a teacher, and I think that's one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about. And the other thing that I'm very, very passionate about is just getting people to be the best that they can be. They say here in the Bahamas, it's better in the Bahamas, and I believe that as a nation, we could be so much better. And it actually starts with us. And I think it starts with us looking at this area of wellness and how it affects us and how it affects our families and our work environment.
Now, Graham and Anita, obviously education is going to be the key, because this is a kind of new approach. You've had the church over here, the pastor, the reverend, the doctor over here, the lawyer over here, and the bank over here. So what you guys are doing, putting all in one kind of, isn't it, that's a tremendous educational responsibility.
It is a wonderful educational responsibility. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to impact the lives of our colleagues. You know, the relationship that Anita and I experience in wellness is what I call as a symbiosis. It's an opportunity for us to be able to have a positive effect on each other, which has a positive outcome. So
Are you saying your relationship relates to the practice?
Definitely, absolutely. We work together.
So if you guys are fighting, then I shouldn't come to see you. Because I get caught in between, right?
That's very interesting.
To work together in wholeness, it means that you guys have to really have a special connected relationship.
I think, you know, what you're talking about is something very special that I think, to be honest, Graham and I don't fully understand ourselves. You know, Graham and I have always worked together. There's an incredible story behind us meeting together, but not to go into that right now, but very, very interestingly, I think that it's just being together is wonderful. And I very much doubt you will ever see us fighting in the practice, because we don't fight at home. And we work together. Again, we have our very specific roles and we have our very specific gifts.
But was it hard to come together to really work as one? Because, you know, a lot of couples,
not at all.
They love each other, but boy, they cannot work together.
I mean, it does require work. There's absolutely no doubt about that. As in any relationship, there are dynamics that occur in any relationship. And for our relationship, that is true as well. But I think it's important.
So you have to work your relationship.
Absolutely.
Oh,
we work
absolutely.
the relationship at home. We work the relationship at the office. We use the same model of holistic wellness, the wellness, and looking at all aspects of these, because we recognize that they're important not just to our clients, but also important to our lives and the lives of our two beautiful children that we have. And it does require work. It requires effort. And so it's not all pie in the sky and dreamy. There are realities that there is a tension. One of the things that I find so beautiful in life is that there is what is known as positive turbulence. Positive turbulence is the ability to be able to sit in tension with each other. Of course I prescribe it. Positive turbulence is something that is important.
Very important, because what I've noticed is you guys work as a team.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, you know, they really must have their act together. And that does require some work on both your parts.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
much so.
And it's something that requires constant reevaluation. An opportunity to be able to sit in marriage time and family time, an opportunity to be able to sit in professional development time, so that we can look at, well, where are we and what are we doing? How do we look back and recognize the moments which are the moments of setting pillars up? You know, when we look at our biblical story, we see that they actually set up pillars to remember moments. And so setting up those pillars in our lives, but then also being able to look forward at, you know, what does the future hold, and how do we shape that and mold that as we are guided and directed.
Dr. Graham and Anita Case, a tremendous couple doing tremendous work on wellness. We're going to take a break and be right back.